So, lads, today in like 40 minutes or so, I'm very late to this video. I do want to apologize. 40 minutes or so, Iowa are playing against UConn in a game that we're gonna be real. Iowa do have. I think ESPN are probably right with this game by giving Iowa a 9% chance of winning. I think it's maybe lower. I think it's more like 4 or 5%. But if you look at UConn on the year, UConn have only really played one team, I would say, of the level of Iowa. I don't think Ohio State are very good. Michigan are better than Iowa, especially when they can just go and cook with solid swords. The thing is, like, the USC game, USC, I think, are on a similar level to Iowa. But this was a blowout, and this was 29 points did not do this game justice. It did not do this game justice. Or 28 points. Like, it was like near 40 at one stage. They were killing them from minute 1 to the end of the game. And I'm going to be honest here. UConn looked unbelievable. I give Iowa a better chance than I give UConn. Why? Because they've done it before. Iowa have been giant killers over the last couple of years. They beat USC last year. This is a team that has upset wins in them. And it's almost in their blood. Like, I understand when it came to the Iowa teams, we were like, oh, Iowa were the higher seed against UConn in 2024. That was an upset. Everyone thought UConn were going to win. After UConn completely destroyed USC, everyone thought UConn was going to win that game. UConn, as much as they were like not, like they had a lot of injury problems, didn't have AZ, they still had 5 future WNBA players on that team. So, look, I think they had a really good squad. And again, when you have 2 top 6 picks in Leah Edwards and Paige Bueckers, when you have a number 1 pick, when you have Ashton Shade, who's going to be in the league, when you have KK Arnold, who's going to be in the league, when you have Nika Mule, who was an early second-round pick, it is tough. It's tough to beat that team. And to say that Iowa were the super deep team either, they didn't really go deep either. But to win this game for Iowa, they need to make this a dogfight. Iowa are not going to score more than 75 points. They're just not. They don't have it in them. And against this UConn defense, they don't have it in them. Even if UConn's defensive, you can argue maybe they don't have the greatest defensive players, their whole bench can play defense. If you look at Iowa's points against decent teams, 57 against Baylor, 64 against Miami, 69 against Iowa State, they're not going to score more than 75 points. They're probably not going to score more than 70. Iowa have to make this a dogfight. If this is not a dogfight, I don't know how we see Iowa stay in this, because Iowa cannot keep up with UConn in terms of pure scoring. They don't have enough in them to do that. Like, as pure scoring is concerned, they don't have enough to keep up. And then the good thing is, though, is that Iowa can drag teams down to their level. They absolutely can drag teams down to their level. And it's one of those things where you have really good defenders. I think Ava Hayden has done the best job on Audie Crooks that anyone has done this year. She just picked up dumb fouls. And that's the difference between a young player and an experienced player, and especially someone who didn't get that much experience as a freshman. Audie Crooks was able to draw some fouls. And especially Addie Brown, when they made that switch, was able to draw some fouls on Ava Hayden. But Ava Hayden was able to match up physically with Audie Crooks. She's a really solid defender, super strong. Hannah Stuckey's one of the best defenders in college basketball. She's one of the best. And then Kylie Fearbach has the ability to annoy AZ Foot. If they can hold, potentially, AZ Foot to having a bad game. And I think it's a lot easier to do that than to hold Sarah Strong into a bad game. But if you are Hannah Stuckey, that is your matchup. You have to get the better of the Sarah Strong matchup. And 9 times out of 10, Sarah Strong is going to get the better of Hannah Stuckey because Sarah Strong is a much better player. Hannah Stuckey is good enough that the 1 time out of 10 that Stokey gets the better of Sarah Strong can be today. And that's the thing in college basketball. This is probably the one game. This is the biggest game of the regular season that Iowa are going to play for the rest of it. After Michigan, this is the biggest game they're going to play by quite a decent amount. Because if we're being completely real, they're not there's a lot of weak games they play, and their conference is a piss take. Their conference is an absolute joke of a conference. But yeah, it is what it is in that regard. But if Iowa play good defense, which I think they will, and they can keep this game in the 60s, all it's going to take is one of Taylor McCabe, Kylie Feuerbach, or Addie Deal, or Stremlo, or Chit Chat. It'll take two of them lighting up. And it'll take Ava Hayden outplaying Sarah Williams. Because that is the one matchup where I'm like... So if you look at matchups, you have... who plays a point for UConn? Jesus. You've got... Is Keke Arnold playing the point at the minute? But you've got Chit Chat. Chit Chat is... The way she's playing, she could win her matchup. Feuerbach is going to lose the AZ Full matchup. It depends on how badly she loses that matchup. Taylor McCabe is probably going to lose, even when they bring like Quineros off the bench, she's going to go and lose that matchup. It depends on how badly. I would hope Ava Hayden needs to emphatically win the Sarah Williams matchup, and Hannah Stuckey needs to win the matchup, because Iowa aren't making many subs today. They're not. And then you have as well the whole situation with Emily Rodriguez being suspended. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. It is what it is. Like, it does not help. As much as people are saying, that she was a bad player, it doesn't help having a player suspended for team morale, because there are definitely players, there's probably players in the team that didn't despise her. But yeah, look, that is pretty much it, lads. That is pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that anyone's got, or do you think they've got any chance? Do you think it's over? I think they have a puncher's chance. I do think they have a puncher's chance, but a lot of it's going to come down to Stuckey being the best player on the floor again, just like she was the last time Iowa played UConn. But big difference between Stuckey now and Stuckey when Caitlin Clark was on the team. Definitely a Caitlin Clark merchant. Not a bad thing, but unfortunately, unless she drafted by Fever, she might just be a Caitlin Clark merchant out of the league quick. So anyway, I'll see you guys.